On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Malachi Black denies his AEW release. NXT will retain the philosophy of using younger talent despite the brand change. Tony Khan is not granting the release request for the AEW talent, and Saraya appears to be joking about her boyfriend's troubled past. Folks, it's time to hit. I forgot what I was going to say, and I even knew what I was going to say, and I ended up forgetting it. So, we're just going to hit a sweet chin music into some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Black went live on Instagram on Monday night denying reports about being granted a conditional release. He pointed to his original comments on September 18th about taking time off, saying he had put the word release in quotation marks. He later made it clear he was remaining with AEW after taking time off. That is false, he said in regards to getting a conditional release. Quote, I don't know why you trust these people to tell you the truth because it's not true. He said that he had been given time off by Tony Khan and speculation about his release being confirmed was not true. It's not confirmed, he said. Clearly it's not confirmed. None of it has been confirmed because I haven't left, Black said. I've been given time off by Tony Khan to take care of a bunch of stuff. All this stuff was weeks ago. I posted that statement as a summary to understand why I am taking some time off. It isn't a statement. It's mind-boggling. He said, I will see you guys in a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, he later added. Like I said, I'm only taking some time off. There's nothing going on. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. Everything's fine. You'll see me right back in AEW pretty soon. I'm just going to take some time. That's it. So, initially, I was a bit confused, right? Because I was like, well, okay, you said that you were taking some time off, and then it came out that he was getting his, quote, conditional release, unquote, right? And I was of the opinion, I don't know how to say that. I thought that he was getting his conditional release. Malachi Black has now since come out and said that that is far from the truth. So he's not getting his conditional release, I guess. But he is still taking time off. And I mean, if I did come out and say anything in regards to no, I didn't, because I was under the assumption that he got his conditional release. And he didn't get his conditional release. So I don't remember if I said anything outlandish about him not wanting to stay with AEW. The only gripes that I had was just the fact that he was going to be leaving a faction, and then Buddy Matthews is going to be leaving a faction. We'll get to that later on, but for right now, he's still here. He's still taking time off. The time off thing is still happening. That is still a constant in the whole news situation. The conditional release thing, that's the only thing that isn't actually true. He's not actually getting released. He is actually taking time to recalibrate. And he did say that it was in the post that he made. I didn't read the post, but obviously I looked at what he said and I saw the video of what he said of when he was talking about, taking some time off and everything like that. And he did say, this is not goodbye, this is see you soon. So if I did at any point speak on him leaving the WWE, it was only because I was I assumed that, that whole thing was true. And I guess it's not. And I love this about wrestling and the news and journalism and all that, because I like that I can say things and then find out that I'm wrong and then come back and be like, come back and tap the mic and be like, guys, it turns out I was wrong, which is fine. I don't mind doing that, okay? If anything, it makes it more interesting, all right? It keeps you on your toes, keeps you alert, all right? Next, we're going to be talking about NXT and how it's retaining its philosophy. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, the 2.0 branding is now officially over, but the philosophy for the new NXT will remain similar. This includes using younger talent. Dave Meltzer said, no more 2.0, it's just NXT again. They're going back to the old colors, but the same philosophy in the sense of mostly younger guys coming in and younger women coming in and everything. So, in my... okay. So NXT is a developmental brand. Then. It's... Okay, I can't say that. But that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like it is. It sounds like they are not considering NXT a third brand at all. It sounds like they are just considering NXT to be this developmental brand where they bring on new talent, younger guys who are still learning their craft and who are still green, right? And they're teaching them the WWE way. Or, if anything, they're not even doing that anymore because Vince McMahon is in here. So they're bringing them on and they're pretty much just teaching them, the tricks of the trade and everything like that. But my argument is that if NXT is a developmental brand, what is NXT Level Up? What is that? Is that developmental? I said this yesterday. Is that developmental for developmental? What is NXT Level Up? Is it supposed to be the main event? You know how Raw and SmackDown have main events? You kind of like the little, like, you know, underling of the two big shows. Is that what NXT Level Up is supposed to be? Because I assumed that it was, I was just going off of the name of, like, Level Up. Like, you know, you're getting better, right? You're honing your craft. I assumed that Level Up was the developmental, and then you go to NXT, and then you can get called up or called somewhere else. But considering the fact that it sounds like it's remaining as this developmental brand, despite the fact that there's been arguments for years about, oh, don't call NXT a developmental brand. Don't say, oh, they got called down to NXT. Don't say they got called up to Raw, because NXT needs to be on the same level as Raw and SmackDown. Well, that doesn't really seem to be the case anymore. Well, I don't know. The younger talent and new wrestlers thing makes me believe that this is meant to be a developmental brand, despite the fact that there was a bunch of pushback, especially ages ago, about it not being a developmental brand. But I guess it is. I don't have a problem with it. I sound like I have a problem with it, but I don't. I take no umbrage with NXT being the developmental brand. I was just going off of the fact that like a couple years ago, we were screaming about NXT being considered a developmental brand. Remember when Survivor Series was coming around and everybody and their grandmother was like, how come NXT isn't on Survivor Series? NXT is just as good as SmackDown and Raw. And now all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, call down. But I don't know, man. You know what? I don't know. Do I consider NXT a developmental brand? No, I don't. I don't see why it should be. I don't see why it can't be the third brand. But the problem is that that's what it was originally, and that's how it was brought up, and that's what it was considered as. So it's going to be difficult for really a lot of people to sort of like take it out of that like light that it was in and cast it in a new one. I personally don't struggle with that, because I already see, just based off the talent, and also fucking Ricochet, Dolph Ziggler, Mandy Rose, Apollo Crews, there's a million, fucking Eric and Ivar. They were on the main roster, and then they came back to NXT. Finn Balor was on NXT, and then he went back to the main roster. So if you're allowed to go back down, I guess, and it's not really considered like a bad thing, right? And also weren't JC Jane and Gigi Dolan and all that, weren't they there? So like, if you can just, I keep saying this, if you can just pop back and forth like you're going to the fucking gas station, then I don't understand how it's considered developmental. I don't understand. If that's the case, anyone who gets called up to the main roster should not go back down. They should stay right where they're at, and they should go to main event or something like that. And anyone who's on NXT, it should be a big fucking deal when they go to the main roster. It shouldn't be like this thing where they're there and then they're not, you know, and then they're there like 2 weeks later and then they go back to NXT to continue a storyline. I don't know, man. As far as I know, I'm not going to consider NXT a developmental brand. Next, we're going to be talking about Tony Khan and how he's not granting his release to AEW talent. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Tony Khan will no longer release AEW talent. This could change in the future, but he's not about letting talent go back to WWE after their regime change. Nobody's getting released. That's the doctrine. Tony Khan made that very clear in the last couple of days, so now he's not getting released. This is Dave Meltzer. Buddy Matthews isn't getting released. Now that may be back sooner than... Now they may be back sooner than before, or whatever. You know the situation. They were both wanting to go and find a way out, but that's the decision that was made. I mean, it's not to say it's hard and fast and there will be no way and nobody's getting released, but I think it's pretty much the deal that if this happened in the other company, would those people get released? And the answer is no. They signed a contract, and so basically now their option is to sit at home, and he can extend the contract if they sit at home or wrestle. So now they're going to wrestle. It's kind of a weird thing because he waved goodbye and now he's back, and I'm sure he's going to blame me, but that's what happened. No release. Okay, this I feel as though is going to start a couple problems. I feel as though that this is going to stir shit and not in a good way, right? Because this is the same problem that Vince had long ago, where he essentially kept a shit ton of people. He didn't do anything with them. He didn't put them in any storylines. You know, the age-old trope of, not trope, but the age-old quote of creative has nothing for you. You know what I mean? And I feel like Tony Khan is like very subtly tiptoeing into that territory. And that's not good. You can't just you can't just hold talent hostage because you don't want them to go to the enemy, the Fed. Who cares? It doesn't matter. If they want to go to WWE and they don't feel like their talent is being utilized on this brand, they are more than welcome to go to other brands. But you want to know why? Because if you keep them, and this is the same fucking thing that I was always talking about Vince. If you keep them, but you don't fucking do anything with them, what the fuck is the point of them being on the roster, man? What is the point? We've been talking about Tony Khan having a bloated roster for years now, man, for years. And it still seems to be the case. And so far, it doesn't seem like we're going to get, like, the Bloody Wednesdays that WWE used to have. But, like, I feel like in this day and age, even if it was a Bloody Wednesday, I feel like it wouldn't even be a Bloody Wednesday. I think it would just be a Wednesday. I feel like in this day and age, man, I hope that Tony Khan is not going to be the person that releases people despite the fact that they were in the middle of a storyline or people didn't want them to be released or something like that. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like where this is headed is not in the best direction. I feel as though that Tony Khan is possibly going to get himself in a bit of hot water because he's not really like... I feel as though he's not going about this in the best way. My man said he's not granting release requests for anyone, for anybody, okay? So, I don't see this going well for Tony Khan in the future. And also, now that, first of all, Aleister Black is like, he's not leaving, but he's not there. And then Buddy Matthews said he was leaving, but he's staying. And now it's just like this awkward thing of like, you know, I mean, okay, it's not awkward, but like, what am I supposed to think now? Like, what exactly? I don't understand what I'm, so if the House of Black come back minus Malachi, am I supposed, like, okay, then I guess it's supposed to be like, oh, hey buddy, how are you, man? I mean, I heard you were gonna leave and then you didn't leave, so like, is everything cool? I assume everything's cool. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, he's like crying in like the shower or something, you know? I assume everything's fine. I think it's just the fact that, like, you know, I'm just sort of like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but as far as I can tell, man, I don't think that this is gonna go well in the near future. Finally, we're gonna be talking about Saraya. It's Saraya, guys. It's Saraya. And not Saraya, okay? Who the fuck what type of simpleton would call her Saraya? Sheesh, okay? Saraya took to her TikTok to post a video of her lovingly watching her boyfriend, singer Ronnie Radke, pretend to stab someone repeatedly while Britney Spears sings Mama, I'm in love with a criminal over the proceedings. The video is a disturbing wink at Radke's sordid past. Radke trended on Twitter after Saraya's debut with AEW, with many bringing up his criminal history. Radke, the lead singer of bands such as Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse, was involved in a fight that led to the death of 18-year-old Michael Allen Cook and pleaded guilty to a charge of, quote, battery with substantial bodily harm and was placed on probation. Radke later violated his parole, which led to a 2.5-year prison sentence. Radke has also been arrested after failing to appear for a court date related to a domestic incident between him and his then-girlfriend, Sally Watts. Radke has also been charged with assault, stemming from a September 2012 incident that saw him violently throw microphone stands into the crowd during a Falling in Reverse concert, which led to Six Flags Great Adventure banning further metal concerts from the park. The video isn't the only wink at the controversy surrounding Saraya's boyfriend. She also took to her Instagram story to celebrate that Radke was trending in the wake of her surprise AEW debut on last Wednesday's Dynamite, despite it mostly being related to his violent, controversial past. That's not good. Don't celebrate that. Don't be like, oh, my boyfriend. Oh, how kooky, how wacky. No, absolutely not. Completely deplorable human being, and he should not be paraded around like he's just some wacky, quirky guy. Oh, my boyfriend, he's so silly, killing people and putting people in harm's way. Oh, what a silly character. Isn't he so kooky, guy? No, Saraya, you're fucking crazy. You're crazy. Stop dating crazy people. You're a crazy person. All right? You are perpetuating the shit. And you're fucking celebrating it. And I know there's people, especially on TikTok, I know there's people out there that are like, and he's so crazy. Oh, Saraya and Radke. Oh, relationship goals. Like, y'all are fucking crazy. Crazy people. This is fucking Harley Quinn and the Joker. You're not supposed to be cheering for them. You're not supposed to be going, oh, I would love to be in a relationship like that. No, man, no. Mark my fucking words. We're gonna get an article coming out soon about Ronnie doing something. Okay? Not me, Ronnie, the other Ronnie, okay? Mr. Radke. He's gonna do something. I don't know what he's gonna do. And you know what? I really shouldn't even be saying that, to be fairly honest. It's really rude to say something like that. But considering the fact that he's done like 4 or 5 different things that he knows he's not supposed to fucking do, and Saraya appears to just be like, oh guys, oh my boyfriend, oh, isn't he just the silliest? Fuck me, man. Jesus, that's not good. You should not be parading this around. You should not be like, oh, isn't this great? She's celebrating the fact that he's trending. He's trending because he's a fucking criminal, right? I don't know, man. Jesus Christ. That's toxic behavior. That is toxic as fuck. Okay, that is toxic as fuck. I wouldn't want to meet Saraya. I wouldn't even want to be in a fucking elevator with her for longer than 5 minutes, because she would start talking to me about like, oh, so you know 9/11 was an inside job, you know. Oh, where's the emergency button? Oh man, how do you get the emergency hatch open? Okay, Jesus Christ. That is not okay. She should not be parading this. Ronnie Radke, she needs to change her music. That's all she really needs to do. And she needs to fucking break up with him. But I can't say that because then people are going to be going, oh, ratio, you don't get bitches or anything like that. So I can't say anything. So all I'm going to say is that I hope she changes her music at some point in the future. And I really fucking hope that they go their separate goddamn ways. And I hope she gets fucking therapy, man. She needs to fucking talk to somebody. Because Jesus Christ. What do we talk about? Malachi Black denies his release, which is fair, because he never really said that he was actually leaving AEW as, like, entirely. He just said that he was taking a break. NXT will keep the philosophy of using younger talent. Fine, I take no issue with that, but I guess that means it's a developmental brand, even though I didn't really consider it that way, but apparently I guess I need to consider that now. Tony Khan isn't granting anyone who's in AEW their release, which doesn't seem like a smart move. I don't see this going well in the future. And Saraya is a crazy person. She's crazy, and she dates crazy people because she's a crazy person. Don't date people that are crazy, because then you'll seem like a crazy person. And if you're dating someone who's a crazy person, then you will slowly turn into a crazy person, and you don't want to be a crazy person, okay? You don't want to do that. Folks, I'm going to give a shout out to everybody who stopped by. I hope everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. As always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.